Hell yeah.
Welcome to National Prayer Breakfast, everyone. My name's Aaron Scarborough, and I am joined here today by a fellow by the name of Jacob Jonas. Say hi, Jacob.
Hey, how's it going, everybody?
Jacob is formerly a Denver comic, but now he's sort of off the grid. I wonder if I'm like talking like there's an audience. Has anyone seen Into the Wild? Because that's the approach this man has taken, and we're here to support that. We're here to support his multi-level marketing scheme that he's working on.
It's a mix of Into the Wild and then also Mary Kay.
Yeah, Mary Kay. Yeah. Except for instead of a pink Cadillac, you get a pink van.
Yeah, exactly.
A pink version of your van.
Yeah, exactly.
Have you considered painting it pink?
No, I have considered putting some sort of like painting company or like just to make it like more incognito.
Yeah, a little bit less Buffalo Billy.
It is very. It's just a standard white van, which is pretty scary.
Yeah, you kind of need to do something to it, like just to show, that you're not a creep.
Yeah, but I feel like if I put a logo on it and then somebody sees through that, then that looks more like a creep. Where
right.
Like, oh no, I'm just a painting company, and then I fucking, pull out. And
until the technology exists to make you invisible, like the Predator, then I think you're kind of fucked in that department.
Pretty much.
But I don't judge when I see a young man driving around a van. I don't think that this guy's a danger to society. I assume the best of them.
Yeah, you're also a comic.
This is probably a nice fucking socialist who's just driving around the countryside preaching the word of Karl Marx and W.E.B. Du Bois. Du Bois?
I think it's Du Bois. No, is it Du Bois?
I don't think that anyone knows.
Yeah, I mean, it is a French name, right?
It sounds pretty French.
That is French, yeah. But yeah, no, I am living in a van and just traveling around the country, trying to get a pulse on the American sentiment of politics. And then also make a fool of myself in bars at 2 a.m. in front of strangers.
Yep. You did a little bit of that last night, but not at 2 a.m, of course. But you had a showcase, and I didn't see a set, but I heard it was lovely.
Yeah, it was very fun. The Comedy Club of Kansas City. There's 30 people there, but they were about it. They were there, and it was fun. Ryan Tricky got me that gig, and
sure, it
was great. Yeah,
Tricky's a good boy.
He is a good boy. He's a certified good boy.
You might say that I'm in league with Ryan Tricky. Our fates are tied.
Yeah.
There's photos of us together. We do need to, keep this structured, and by that I mean the only consistent thing we've been doing is having a prayer at the beginning.
Oh, okay.
Where I offer up a prayer, and it's you don't have to bow your head or close your eyes.
I'll do that.
But,
I will.
Okay. I'm not going to. I just like to talk. But I just wanted to say, Heavenly Father, thank you. Thank you for making this podcast such a success. I don't know what I did to deserve the 61 followers that we have. Because I've only been, trying to do this for like 5 or so years, but I appreciate the 61 Spotify followers, and I know that you have a plan for all of us. So I'm just gonna say that, just short and sweet. I appreciate you up there, dude. If you're real.
That's great. No, that's 61 followers. That's a good fucking. That doesn't sound like much, but that's actually a pretty good Spotify following.
Right. You see the angle I took there was I'm going to pray, but I'm going to kind of hint to him that I would like a little bit more help.
I'm eternally grateful.
Listening, by the way.
Yeah, I'm eternally grateful for all my followers that and the more that are there.
Again, 61. Who,
they're great.
what else could a podcaster want? There's 61 followers.
61. That's more than 60. That's one more than 60.
I could advertise like with, you know, a local lemonade stand maybe.
Yeah, exactly. You could sell lemonade and then also not even like you don't get cash. You just like have a QR code,
right?
And then one follow for lemonade,
right? I don't know. So what I'm saying is the operation's going well. You Jenkum Jones on Instagram.
Mm-hmm.
You're up to 12,000. That's pretty good.
Yeah, it's mostly because I had 2 TikToks that really blew up, and then a bunch of meme pages on Instagram. Just kept recycling them. Yeah, and that's where I got a majority.
So you're a genius.
It was just like there's one Instagram page called Nugget that has like a couple million followers, and it's just them. And then like the thing with meme pages is that they're so strapped for like content that they just need to. They post like 8 or probably like 15 times a day, and so they just recycle material like every couple of months.
Right.
And so that's where, you know, a majority. And then I have like people like thinking, because it was like one of them was like a prank video, so they come and they're like, they go to my page and they think that I'm like this crazy prankster, social experiment guy. And then they're like, oh, he's fucking just a comic.
He's just a comic.
Yeah.
We thought he was a movement. We thought we were here for the revolution on his Instagram. And they're like, oh fuck.
Oh fuck, he's just telling
what is
jokes.
This, Seinfeld? Who is this?
Yeah, speaking of the Heavenly Father, I actually, a week ago, I went to the Creation Museum and the Ark exhibit.
I'm so jealous.
Dude, it was great.
I gotta go.
You should.
I think that was under construction when I was a kid, you know? And us in that part of society, which is fundamentalist Christian, right-wing fucking lunatics, that was the Mecca. You know, finally we have proof in a museum. Finally, now we can shut all these fucking scientists up.
Literally,
game over. Checkmate. We have a museum now. So
it is Boone County, Kentucky. They're within 45 minutes of each other. The Ark exhibit is fucking wild. I mean, because it's like it's built to the specifications of the Bible. It's like a 510-foot long boat made out. I don't think it's made out of gopher wood, but they had this info board that said everything fits in the museum, and I could look it up, but it's literally they outline all of the food and water that they would need, and they say 400 tons of food, and I did the math, and that's 800,000 pounds. And they're like, it fits.
Yeah.
800,000 pounds of food, 322,400 gallons of water, and then Stegosauruses and Tyrannosaurus Rexes.
Right.
And it's mind blowing. It's crazy.
What a lovely topic for this podcast, with it, you know, it being called National Prayer Breakfast.
Right.
You know, most of my guests don't bring me this sort of shit. So if you're a guest that's been on this show, be more like Jacob.
Yeah, go to the
Try to be more like
museum.
Jacob. Jacob's doing stuff for me. What are you doing? Maddie.
I don't even know who that
Tristan.
is. Tristan
What a
and
bullshit
Maddie.
episode that was.
Yeah, just start calling out people I don't even know.
Yeah, I'm gonna dox people for having bad episodes.
Maddie
on my
at
show.
this address.
Look, if you want to fuck around, you can do that at an open mic. When you come here,
Bring like a PowerPoint.
when you talk into the Yeti,
The blue Yeti.
that's right. This is recorded on a Yeti Blue, bitch. What are you working with?
But yeah,
It's my girlfriend's.
This is your girlfriend?
Everything's my girlfriend's. This fucking shirt is my girlfriend.
Oh, yeah.
This fucking shirt's my girlfriend.
The suicidal tendencies shirt.
This cigarette, this little cigar, my girlfriend's.
What is it, Delta 8?
Yes, the CBD.
The CBD is your girlfriend's.
Yeah, I know it's been a mystery. People are always like, what are they smoking on there? It's CBD.
It's completely legal here in the
It's
States.
actually, it's vapor.
It's an analog vapor stick.
Yeah. Technology, man.
That's crazy. It's insane that
It's pretty convincing.
Yeah, they've gone that far. It's a hologram. Are we on the Kansas side or the Missouri side?
We're on the Missouri side right now. I guess you were over You were over at Ryan's, which is closer to like State Line or whatever.
Yeah, the State Line Road.
Right.
Yeah.
Isn't that a weird phenomenon?
It really
Outside the
is.
street.
That is crazy because I come
Yeah.
from Colorado and it's like a huge state, and Denver's right in the middle of it. So like being in between states all the time. Is...
Dude, you know how many times I've been like smoking some CBD while driving down State Line, and just like wondering how, like, because it's like CBD, the type of CBD that I smoke is illegal on the left when I'm going down that road, but it's legal on the left, or decriminalized rather.
That's what I was about to ask.
But I think in Kansas they still they hang you for having weed.
It is still very draconian. I did hear that.
That's a one-way ticket to the gallows.
Yeah, they still have the gallows.
They do, yeah.
Wow.
It's in Kansas, an interesting place. So much progressive stuff sometimes,
Right.
while other times, what the fuck?
Yeah, they still have the gallows. I mean,
Right.
Is abortion legal there?
Yeah. So that's in Missouri. I don't know. I feel like those of us in Kansas City, Missouri, which is like kind of, like compared to the rest of the state, it's kind of lib central, you know? Like,
right.
I'm not saying like lefty central, I'm saying like lib central.
Right.
Like suburban lib.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
But it still has the gallows for smoking CBD.
Yeah. It still has a Newt Gingrich sort of approach.
Right.
Which that was
the creator of the gallows.
Yes, in the 90s, Newt Gingrich, if you're not familiar, he's a very handsome former senator. I don't think he's not still at large, is he?
I don't think so.
I think he's in the shadows now. He's probably working on some sort of Killing Lincoln, book franchise.
Yeah. Or
Bill O'Reilly. But you gotta hand it to Bill O'Reilly. Everyone was just like, so you're a rapist. And he was like, yes.
He's like, listen to the phone calls.
Yes.
Listen to what I was saying.
But have you heard my thoughts about Lee Harvey Oswald?
No.
I'm being...
Oh, you're being hit. Yeah.
I would do an episode about Lee Harvey Oswald right now, but every episode so far has been about Lee Harvey Oswald.
Does Bill O'Reilly have like opinions on the JFK stuff?
Yeah, so Bill O'Reilly, ever since he left Fox News amicably,
right? Of course, not anything to do with the rape.
No settlements.
No settlements.
Yes.
Yeah.
Stayed out of the courts. But yeah, so Bill O'Reilly writes these books, and it's a series called Killing, I guess, because one of them's called Killing Lincoln, and it's about the circumstances around his assassination and whatever. And they come out around Christmas time, so you can get it for your boomer ass, right wing Tucker Carlson dad or whatever. Right. And they love it.
Yeah,
it's like crack to them.
Oh yeah.
But anyway, he's done that. He's done Killing Oswald, I think, Killing Kennedy, and I don't know if you know this about Bill O'Reilly, but the man's a journalist.
I didn't. I just thought that he was kind of like.
He fancies himself a journalist.
Wow, that's interesting. Yeah, I didn't. I had no idea.
Maybe he should listen to National Prayer Breakfast, and he could learn what real journalism looks like.
Yeah, exactly. I actually went to the JFK Museum in Dallas, Texas, in the book depository. Very little security there, surprisingly. No metal detectors, nothing. I was like, didn't you guys learn your lesson? You know? But it was still very interesting. You got to see the X where he was assassinated, and
sure.
They actually there was the QAnon rally. Did you ever see that? They went a couple of months ago. They went to the X, and they thought that JFK Jr. was going to come back.
Yes, that was a tough blow for the Q drop community.
I've always wondered about that, where it's like how many there was. A majority of the group was supposed to come at whatever noon or whatever it was the day that he was supposed to come back. But then it was how many people? Who was the last person to leave? You know, who is the most diehard JFK Jr. stan?
Right. That is a good point.
Where he's everyone else is leaving. He's like, you fake fuckers, I'm here. Yeah.
Yeah, that would be. probably how it will go. It'll probably go something similar whenever our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ comes back.
That's true.
Which, as we know, he's coming back and he's going to be like, I'm going to finish the job I started, which is being a servant to the state of Israel.
Right. Well, that's,
He'd go to, he would be the new Avenger, and he would fly into the West Bank. And I'm not going to get into what he would do, but judging by what Christians think now, I think he'd be that sort of character.
Yeah, he would be on the right side, whatever side that you think that side is.
Yep.
He would be on the correct side.
Yes. It would be nice to at least survive an assassination attempt. Have you ever thought about that? Like all the street cred that would.
Dude, when Reagan got shot, and
yeah,
I mean, his clout went up.
I believe Hinckley, who is still at large, or he's out again or whatever. He's performing music.
Is he?
Yeah.
Oh shit! I didn't know that.
But I remember hearing something about the Hinkleys being good friends with the Bushes.
Oh yeah, I have heard that before.
They're an old oil related family.
Yeah.
Fun people. Those oil people, good folks.
Both the Bushes and the Hinkleys they're party animals.
Right. And yeah, for the record, we're not bringing up the Bushes because we're not trying to insinuate. If there's one thing we are not trying to insinuate here, it's that Poppy Bush, HW, had anything to do with the death of JFK.
No, not at all. I actually haven't even heard
I think
of
it's normal. I think it's normal that he doesn't know what he was doing that day. I think that's normal. I think it's normal that the CIA had an employee named George H.W. Bush at that time.
Oh, really? I
think that's normal, but he claims that he didn't start working for them until way later.
Wow.
I think that's normal.
That sounds normal. I didn't even know about that.
I think it's crazy to think otherwise. For the record, I think conspiracies are dangerous.
Right.
And I'll go even further. I think to insinuate that just because the CIA was monitoring Lee Harvey Oswald's mother's mail,
right,
and just because it was common practice for them to send guys exactly like Lee Harvey Oswald to the Soviet Union and defect, but not really do anything and just work as a spy, to suggest that has any grounds in reality is absurd.
And it's totally normal.
It's absurd.
I can see how every podcast goes back to the JFK assassination now.
Yeah. Well, this is... Look, you can't argue with the results. I told you about the 61. We're 61 strong on Spotify.
Oh, yeah, of
but
course.
That doesn't count my fucking YouTube army.
Oh, what's your YouTube army?
Well, I have 93 subs.
Whoa.
But they're good. They're good boys.
They are good boys.
Yeah.
I'm assuming that they're probably completely separate. So it's like you have 61 separate people and then 93 other people. So if you combine them, there's no overlap.
There's no overlap.
They're two
but
separate.
I want to, on each platform, be 93 subs on YouTube, in my bio.
That's funny.
Should I just do that right now?
You should,
the camera's in use.
Yeah.
God, the things we do for our art.
93 strong.
Right.
Yeah, that's funny. I got into the 9/11 conspiracies, not believing them, but researching them.
Yeah.
And then, I just kind of dropped it. I was like, oh, whatever.
Well, some of it's conspiracy and some of it's just kind of history.
Yeah, well, it's dependent. I mean, if you're looking at a textbook in a high school classroom, it was Al Qaeda that were completely funded by themselves.
Yeah.
Not by Reagan.
Right. He didn't touch the stuff.
No, he didn't touch the stuff in the 80s when he was helping Russia in the Cold War. Not at all.
We had nothing. We never supported the brave fighters of the
Mujahideen. In the 80s when they were fighting
That never
Russia.
happened either.
No.
Let's talk about everything that never happened on this podcast. That's what this show is.
Hypothetically, if you were to say that there were any involvement of the U.S. in its own destruction of 9/11, which is not true at all. But even if you don't believe that, you know,
it was random, dude.
It was random, and also if you don't believe that there were like detonation charges in the whatever, which is fine. That I mean, that's totally true.
Right.
You would hypothetically have to say that, you know, Reagan did kind of give arms and money and just general support to the Mujahideen in the 1980s. Hypothetically, sure. Which is not. I mean, you know, if you were to entertain that thought.
Right.
So
it's not. It's not. I think it's pretty far fetched though to say that. To say that. Even I would go as far as to say that take the Cuba situation.
Mm-hmm.
That's just because socialism's bad.
Yeah,
they've failed. You know. They've failed, aside from them creating 3 vaccines or whatever on their own.
Right.
And aside from them defying, you know, an evil empire that has a stranglehold on them constantly and has a propaganda campaign to convince you and me that Cuba is hell on earth. And it's and more importantly that it's hell on earth because socialism's bad.
Right.
That's the problem.
Yeah. Also, not to mention the multiple coups that happened in South America and Central America.
They didn't happen.
They didn't happen. Also, you know, capitalism is great, and the Banana Republic never existed.
Mm-hmm.
You know, there's never corporations that, you know, killed people or overworked them or anything like that.
Hey. If Banana Republic doesn't exist, then where did I get these pants?
Yeah, exactly.
I'm kidding. I don't wear. That would ruin my whole vibe if I wore Banana Republic pants. I can't do that. I'm a man of the people. I wear my girlfriend's Alkaline Trio shirt.
You're a true
She
proletariat.
has so many better, cooler clothes than me. It's fucking incredible.
Yeah, exactly. You know what's funny? I hypothetically got really into. Even when I was in high school, I got really into the Nicaraguan Contra situation during the Reagan era.
That's a good rabbit hole.
It is a huge
Very
rabbit hole.
telling.
And it was because I was in high school, I was on 90 milligrams of Adderall every day.
Uh-huh.
And so obviously, you know, you could say that I was paranoid and whatever.
You can get to some truth on that level of Adderall.
Yeah, if you get past 60 milligrams, you start seeing the light. But yeah, I mean, hypothetically, I got really into just the Nicaraguan Contra situation. You know Gary Webb?
Gary Webb.
He was like a journalist who worked for the, I think, Tucson Times or the Arizona Times or something like that. But he wrote a whole expose on the CIA and the crack situation in you know, in New York and California and everything like that.
Colin, which by the way, pour one out for Colin.
Oh yeah.
He's no longer with us, but Colin Powell, the good Republican, you know, who also, he didn't burn down any villages or anything in Vietnam. He wasn't like a psycho. But yeah, he that's another thing he wasn't really involved with. Just the
Iran-Contra affair and the fucking, it was crazy.
Sure.
And it, you know, it depends. Some people think that the CIA just allowed a lot of crack to go into the United States unrecognized. Some people think that it was government planes that allowed them to pass through security and whatnot. But I think it never happened at all. So
I think you're right, and I think whatever the listener believes is right.
Yeah.
Whew. Glad that we got that out of the way.
I'm glad that we hashed all of that out.
So. That was exhausting. I don't know. I think time will tell whether or not we were right in committing to that bit for that long.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you know, if we...
Will history clear our name?
I don't know. I mean, we could, either of us commit suicide in the next couple of days, so...
There's always that possibility, and we have no control over that.
Right, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
I am not suicidal. I just gotta say that.
Yeah, legally.
Legally.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't want to get sued for killing myself. That'll put me in so much more debt.
Yeah. $42,000 more dollars of debt.
Yeah, that's I see a future where basically, yeah, like humans, like you can if you want, you can go on living, like in the sense that you still like pay. Like your money, just like you can keep paying your rent
Even if
even
you're
after
dead.
even if you're dead. Like, yeah.
That's like the final stage of capitalism. Is having like
Yeah.
a negative,
Right.
like past death date, or
Right,
past
right.
death debt.
Yeah, I mean, Amazon will have like funeral services, you know, like, and it'll be like some sort of like RoboCop thing. Will like just come over and like pick you up and like bury you.
Yeah, they'll pick you up out of your Amazon Prime bed from your Amazon Prime barracks and then walk over to your Amazon Prime funeral home.
Right, right.
Or if they figure out that if you get like diagnosed with cancer, you have to work like 2 times as hard for the remainder of your life.
Right. By the way, all this is going to be funded by the taxpayer. Sorry.
Yeah, there's going to be a new law where it's no corporation tax or whatever.
That's the fun thing about the dystopian future, like the timeline that we've arrived at. In my mind, it's fun because it's like it's all the like the shitty. It's all the shitty parts from sci-fi, but none of the fun parts. No,
Right.
No, flying cars and shit like that really yet. But
no flying cars for people who work at Amazon, which is going to be the only job.
Right. But yeah, we do have like people that are just like billionaires off the backs of like working people, like Elon Musk types.
Right.
And then on top of that, you'll still have like dudes who like see it as their job. They're like, Elon Musk needs my defense right now.
Yeah.
And they're like, I'm gonna take a stand for fucking Elon Musk. He's my billionaire buddy.
Yeah.
Like I've seen him on, like he gets me.
In like 2063, when it's like Facebook, Twitter, Instagram all conglomerated into one social media.
It's like, dude, what are you doing? Stop liking these people. They're evil. They're like. That's the true thing, like about all these conspiracies. It's like, no, he is like Lord Sauron.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
Fucking, they're horrible people.
Yeah, Elon Musk.
They cause great damage.
Oh yeah. I mean, even when there's like a Tesla, Amazon, death court where people are just like they're on trial for pissing for 30 seconds longer than they should have, and then somebody's like, well, they should. Somebody's on Twitter and they're like, well, they shouldn't have done that,
Yeah. Good Lord, we haven't been doing this episode for very long, but we've already covered quite a bit of ground. We've been all over the place. We've been to Dealey Plaza, all the way to when Lee Harvey Oswald went to Russia.
Yeah, yeah. That's don't ask my
under normal circumstances.
I have
came back with a Russian life.
I have 2 uncles that are they are some of the most intelligent people that I know, and they're like very historically oriented. And my dad would tell me that like in the 80s or 90s. They got so into the JFK conspiracy that, and this was before cell phones or whatever. They would have my dad over to their apartment, and they would shut the blinds, and then they would like look around the art, and then they would start talking about it.
I think some of those guys like they think that they're going to like crack the case or whatever.
Really?
But I mean, in their defense, people do figure out like crazy shit.
That's to all the QAnon listeners out there. Is that
yes.
if you keep going down the
we
rabbit
have a
hole,
little crossover. What's up, my what's up, my Cubies? I don't know.
Q babies.
Q babies. You remember like during the Trump campaign in 2016, there was a moment in time when Trump was like, and by the way, he said at a rally, he's like, by the way, we are now accepting Bernie people to come over. Yeah, he was like trying to because I think Bernie had just lost the primary or whatever.
Uh-huh.
And yeah, we're now, because there were a lot of Bernie bros or whatever, which I was one.
Yeah.
Let's be honest.
Yeah,
and I'm
too.
fine with that.
Yeah.
But there were a lot of us that were so angry at Hillary. We were just like, are you fucking kidding me?
I mean,
I don't know.
It's a good move. I mean, obviously fuck Trump whatever.
Right.
But he knows how to try to bring as many people in as he can.
Right.
That was
if you still fuck with the Clintons, just like, dude, how? Who are they for?
Yeah.
Obviously, like, people on the right side of, like, and I mean, like, on the political spectrum, right wingers are like, she's a fucking communist. Like,
right.
you know, they think that she's a communist or whatever. But then, like, who the fuck doesn't know about, like, all of her bullshit? Like
she's a true
fucking Benghazi, like the thing she did when she was Secretary of State. Who doesn't know about Bill Clinton? Like,
right. Well, really, they're true-blooded capitalist politicians.
right.
And that's what it is.
But their brand is so fucking strong that they're able to do they're on Masterclass.
Yeah.
Like, who the fuck is doing that? Who's like, all people remember from the 90s about Clinton is the fucking blowjob. Like,
right. I should have worn my I'm with her shirt here.
Right. Here's a fun fact about Bill Clinton. He publicly, like, he made a big spectacle of going to see the execution of a developmentally disabled person.
I didn't know
to appeal to right-wing voters.
I did not know that.
Yeah, I know that's an isolated incident, but just think about the caliber of person that is willing to do that.
It was like a big,
It was a big spectacle. Yeah, it was because he needed to appear tough on crime.
Yeah, during the 90s.
And it was a controversial case or whatever because the man was developmentally disabled. And the right-wingers were like, fucking fry him, you know?
and he had like a whole press team. He was like,
yeah.
come check
and
this out.
He was just like, fuck it, I'm a worm. You know? Like, these are not good people.
Yeah.
These are evil fucks.
Yeah.
They're horrible. I don't know. From time to time, I'm like, who out there is still a Clinton guy? Are you a Clinton guy? You have the internet, right?
Yeah. No.
Come on.
It's crazy. And the fact that, you know, even in 2016 when we had, it was either Trump or Clinton, it was just insane. The fact that those were the choices.
Right.
And then Biden and Trump. And it's like, God damn.
Right.
I don't know.
I have a bit about that I've been scorned for by some and praised for by some.
What?
Dude, here's the thing, the telling thing. Sam Talent liked it a lot, which means the world to me because everyone worships Sam Talent, me included.
Right.
He is like comedy. But then I've had like other friends of mine supposedly be like, dude, you have to stop doing that joke. Like, it fucking sucks or whatever. And I'm just like, well, who do I listen to?
Yeah, you're like, what are you, a Fed?
Yeah, for real. Like, who do you work for? God damn. I'm talking into a Yeti right now, bitch.
Yeah, exactly.
Bitch.
This is the fucking Yeti podcast.
Yeah. Anywho, fun stuff. I'm drinking cold brew this morning. Yeah, that's right. We're up grinding.
Yeah.
Grind set and mindset. It's 11:30 in the a.m.
I've been up for 2 hours. I
I've
woke
been
up
up-
at 8.
I've been up for fucking 5 hours.
I know, you hit me up at like fucking 7.
I'm a powerful person.
Jesus. I was like, this guy is fucking...
Unhealthy.
I was like, what are you doing? I
Dude,
thought that you just...
So, no, I mean, I go to bed when I get home, but dude, I get up and it sucks because I'm just like, there's 2 hours until fucking Liv's gonna get up or whatever. And I'm just like, what do I do? And usually I go like, I'll go get some cold brew and I'll listen to some Faith No More. And I'll just get all psyched.
What is Faith No More?
You never listen to Faith No More?
No.
Dude, I mean, as soon as this ends, we are going to listen to some fucking Faith No More.
Is it like a Christian band or something?
Is it a Christian?
I don't know.
Oh, get out of here! You know that Dude, this is the neck beard of an atheist. Come on, look at my attire.
Well, I fucking saw the cross right there. I was like,
right. Well, I'm an atheist who loves irony and iconography. Let's be honest. Like, some of the greatest art in the world ever was religious propaganda.
That is
true.
true.
Did it ever get better than fucking, Raphael? No.
No, I've
Probably not.
I've seen it in person. I went to fucking whatever the fucking I went to Rome. I went to the cathedral. I saw it's mind blowing.
Dude, are you a Goya guy?
No. The artist.
Fuck, dude.
Yeah.
Hey, hang on. Let me pull this up. You'll recognize like at least one of his shit, but you'll enjoy this because you're a Spain guy.
Yeah,
like you've been to Spain. So Francisco Goya.
Yeah, I've definitely heard the name, but I can't.
All right.
Oh yeah, it was like very dark.
Well, that's what he's known for because so
does he have the eating baby one?
Yes.
Yeah.
That's, Saturn devouring.
Yes.
Yes. So Francisco Goya. Let's read it. I'm just gonna go to Wikipedia. That's the type of podcast this is. We don't fuck with no paywalls. All right. So Francisco Goya was a Spanish romantic painter and printmaker. He is considered the most important Spanish artist of the late 18th and early 19th centuries. His paintings, drawings, and engravings reflected contemporary historical upheavals and influenced important 19th and 20th century painters. Goya is often referred to as the last of the old masters and the first of the moderns.
Wow.
So, just a little bit of background on this dude.
Yeah.
So, he was late in life. He was very, very mentally ill.
Mm-hmm.
And he's one of those guys. Have you noticed that all of these old geniuses, people are like, he probably had syphilis.
Yeah.
Like, he's one of those guys. And people are like, yeah, he was clearly a fucking nut.
Right.
But I like guys like this because it makes me feel better about myself. So he, on the outside, he was this guy who worked for the Spanish crown or whatever. Like he was a propagandist, basically. Like, and whatever. But then he also was influenced. Hang on. I don't want to say incorrect things here. So he had like the oligarchs and shit that he would, and the church people that he would normally make art for.
Right.
But at home, he has this like series of 12 paintings that were displayed around his house, and they're called the Black paintings. And they are like the most wildly like loose, like just clearly painted by a mentally ill man. He invented modern art. Like that, he is considered the first modern for that. Like because of the liberties that he took.
Right.
Which is just fascinating. You want to look at some of his shit?
Yeah. Was the Devouring of Saturn one of them?
Yep.
Yeah.
That was one of the Black paintings. This is another Black painting.
God, that's so dope.
Isn't it? Look at
so cool,
dude. He the faces are so creepy and they're so unsettling.
Yeah,
guys, if you're listening, look up Francisco fucking Goya right now. It's a good time. This is, I don't even know if that one was a Black painting, but that's another iconic image by my boy.
Yeah, he's fucking sick.
Yeah, he's metal as fuck.
Yeah, that is metal as
like,
fuck. And the fact that he was like getting paid by the crown, and he's like, this is a real art. And he's just mentally ill in his whatever.
Right. He also did like some political shit. Like he did one called The Sleep of Reason, I believe. Let's look that up. That'll make me feel good if I got that right. Sleep of Reason. Yes.
Produces monsters.
It's a print that he made. Fuck. What a badass.
Damn. What is that? It's like
so I believe it's like a litho print, like, or something. So, are you familiar with printmaking techniques at all?
Not really.
So, the printing press like allowed for mass production of images, basically, and people figured out how to engrave with like chemicals, just extremely intricate images that could be just, you know, ink on it and just mass produce it or whatever. And he made a print called The Sleep of Reason Produces Monsters. And I believe it was inspired by his like witnessing the horrors of the Inquisition. And I can't remember what that says in Spanish or whatever, but, or if that is Spanish.
That is Spanish. It's El Sueño. The Sueño is dream. Yeah, produces monsters.
So it just says that on the print. Yeah. Anyway, super interesting fella.
Yeah.
What led us to Goya? I might have talked about Goya on the podcast, and I apologize if I'm repeating shit, but I'm a passionate guy when it comes to Goya. So maybe this will sink into your fucking thick skulls.
Yeah, I have a picture. I don't. It's probably not the original, but I have a picture of the devouring of Saturn or whatever, because I saw it in a museum, but I didn't know who he was. I was just like, oh, that's sick.
Yeah. I love knowing about the actual guy. Rembrandt is also a guy who, like, when I see him or read about his personality, I'm like, oh, dude, I get that.
Yeah.
Like, he was terrible with money, and he, which is something I relate to. He was horrible with money, and he had an extremely successful career and then a fall from grace where he was just considered irrelevant. Although in retrospect, the work that he made while he was irrelevant is his best work.
Oh, interesting.
He just doubled down. He wasn't doing what everyone else was doing.
Right.
I don't want to get into that. Anyway, so he got to a point where he was so fucking broke, and then he finally got this big commission, and it was to depict the conspiracy of Claudius Civilis, I believe, is what the piece is called. And he, long story short, he painted it, and it's like, we only have like sketches of the whole thing because most of it is not accounted for, but it's considered like his masterpiece based on what we know. But the church, I believe, who commissioned it, they were like, we don't want this, like, we're not paying for this, basically. And he, in an attempt to make money, he cut it into several different pieces. It was like a, you know, really intricate painting, so he cut it into different sections. Which I've done shit like that where I've destroyed really good art of my own on accident, because I was desperate for money or whatever. But yeah, that was the type of person he was. He was a genius, but totally inept at taking care of himself.
Interesting.
Which I think is cool.
That's relatable.
It makes me feel a little bit better. I'm not good at taking care of myself either, and I know that's important, but
you're like Rembrandt. Like
I am. I guess you're getting the point.
Yeah. Whenever you
the more you say it, I guess your words. I am kind of like Rembrandt.
You're taking inspiration from.
I'm
Rembrandt.
really a Rembrandt type of guy.
That is cool.
I wish, dude.
Cutting your pieces into, it's like cutting your art into a bunch of pieces. That's like the first NFT that was ever made.
Yeah, he was trying to fucking Bored Apes that shit. Yeah. He's like, well, I could sell one painting or I could sell 4 paintings.
Yeah, he's like, you get a piece of this.
Yeah, Rembrandt.
What do you think about
conspiracy?
What do you think about NFTs?
Oh, fuck, look at this shit. Hang on. NFTs, like, it's just a scam, right? Like, it was a clear, just like, cash grab for, I don't know, like, just greedy fucks, basically, who fucked a lot of people over. It's like a Ponzi, like, right? As far as I understand it.
You should, there's anybody listening, really, 61 people. There's a really good video from Folding Ideas. It's like a 2-hour-long video, but it's about NFTs and blockchain and whatever. But it's like a very harsh, critical take on it, and it goes super in depth.
Right.
He cut that up?
Yeah, well, this is just one piece
of
the puzzle. Like, But I believe they have sketches or something of the rest of it, like, or speculations of what it would look like. But yeah, that's just a piece of the fucking painting. And yeah, I mean, if you look at that, it's just like unbelievably, like, masterfully done.
Right.
Masterfully in the sense, like, he's done, like, you know, a Rembrandt looks more real than a photo if you've ever seen one in person. It will haunt you. Like, it's just like, fuck, there's a fucking person right there. Like, it looks so real. And he had no hard edges, like, on his regular work.
Wow.
But on this, like, it looks like, to me, like, he was stylizing the shit out of this.
Mm-hmm.
Or this is just such a small piece of the puzzle. Like, if we zoomed out, like, maybe that detail's not there because it was such a small part of the painting, you know?
Right.
Like, it's just unbelievable. Look that up, folks. Rembrandt's The Conspiracy of Claudius Civilis. And yeah, it should come up. I don't know if I said that right.
The conspiracy,
Yeah. Just type in Rembrandt, The Conspiracy. It's unbelievable.
Wait, so is that a historical event that happened? Like
Okay, so that's a good question. I believe it was some sort of historical moment that was like a propaganda sort of tale.
Wow.
Or maybe. Let's see here. Also, I hope you guys know that when I throw around the term propaganda a lot, but I don't think all propaganda is bad. You know?
Yeah.
I fancy myself a pretty good propagandist.
Yeah, propaganda is just the idea of mass producing ideology. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. The conspiracy of... Now, obviously, Rembrandt was a Dutch painter.
Yeah, I see that. 1661 to 1662 it took him.
Yeah.
Wow.
So, let's get some background on the conspiracy of Claudius Civilis. It's an oil painting by the Dutch painter Rembrandt, which was originally the largest he ever painted, at about 5 by 5 meters in the shape of a lunette.
That's massive. 5
by
5 meters.
That is a huge ass fucking painting. The painting was commissioned by the Amsterdam City Council. So I was wrong. I thought it was a church. For the town hall. After the work had been in place briefly, it was returned to Rembrandt, who may have never been paid.
Wow.
Rembrandt drastically cut down the painting to a quarter of the original size to be sold. It is the last secular history painting he finished.
Wow.
The painting is on exhibit at National Museum in Stockholm, Sweden. So yeah, let's get some fucking intel on what the depiction was. The painting follows Tacitus's histories in depicting an episode from the Batavian Rebellion, 69 to 70 AD, led by the one-eyed chieftain Claudius Civilis, actually called Gaius Julius Civilis by Tacitus, but once Claudius Civilis has since become entrenched in art history, in which he collected at one of the sacred groves, ostensibly for a banquet, the chiefs of the nation and the boldest spirits of the lower class, convinced them to join his rebellion, and then bound the whole assembly with barbarous rites and strange forms of oaths. Interesting.
Wow.
Okay. Civilis Tacitus writes, was unusually intelligent for a naive, for a native. God damn it. Was unusually intelligent for a native. That sounds racist as fuck. And
this is like, whenever he was alive, so.
Right, it was fine back then.
Yeah, it was actually progressive.
Yes.
At the time.
Yeah. It was fine, dude. He was pro healthcare.
Yeah.
And passed himself off as a second Sertorius or Hannibal, whose facial disfigurement he shared, that is to say, the loss of one eye. He feigned friendship with Emperor Vespasian in order to regain his freedom. When he returned to his tribal grounds in the marshes of Betui, is that how you say that? Bedouin?
Yeah.
He organized the result he had long been planning. Okay, so
wow.
Yeah, we got some interesting shit going on in that painting in an interesting context. I want to see this one-eyed man, because
is he the one with the crown?
Yep, I think so.
Oh yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Wow.
What a and these people, some of them look like fucking zombies. You know?
Yeah. It doesn't look like she has.
Is I think that's supposed to be a black person.
A white person doing blackface?
Maybe. Again, this was...
Yeah, they look haunting.
Very haunting.
The two people on the right.
Fucking disfigurement. Oh, I love that shit.
Wow.
Also, people were looked at this and they're like, what the fuck is this shit?
Yeah, it was in the town hall.
And we look at it now and we're like, no, you guys were wrong. My boy Rembrandt was right. The same way with Van Gogh. I know it's a typical thing. I've spent a lot of my life resenting Van Gogh because people are always looking at me and they don't say hey, you're as good as Van Gogh. They're just like, hey, you look like Van Gogh and you're a fucking painter. Ha 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 ha. And so I've always just been like, Van Gogh, who the fuck couldn't do that? But looking now, I get it. He was a genius. Mm-hmm. And more importantly, he was a poor person. He was from humble means. He was a failed priest, basically. He wanted to be a clergyman.
Mm-hmm.
And then he got into painting. And no one fucked with him. He sold one piece his whole life.
Yeah, that's the one thing that I have heard is that he was not successful at all.
Not
until
at
he
all.
died.
Yeah, he was mentally ill. He was fucking on absinthe all the time.
Yeah.
But he made art that has influenced everyone in the world.
Now he has fucking museums and VR exhibits and shit.
Yeah, he's a movement. He is a movement. He was fucking post-impressionism.
Yeah.
But he was an island, he knew some painters and shit, and some influential people kind of, but he was just he was a fucking weirdo.
Yeah, he's like, wait till I fucking die.
Yeah.
And then...
Yeah, wait till I die, bitch. Then
you'll put some respect on
my
fucking
But it's a testament, it's a testament to whatever you're doing. If you have passion about it, you're willing to suffer for it. In my mind, I don't know. I'm willing to suffer for it.
No, yeah, definitely. Every
What about you, Mr. Living in a Van?
That's
you willing to suffer for it?
Literally, that's exactly what I'm doing.
What the fuck else are we going to do though? We don't. I don't get. I can't just survive getting into Ted Lasso.
No.
Shit. I can't re-enter society now.
You're too far gone. You're 2 years out.
Yes, I have to come back now as the weird guy from high school that comes back and he's like, fuck all you bitches, that's my only move, because if I don't, this whole thing has been pretty fucking sad.
Oh my god! If you go back and you fucking get a job at a Best Buy or whatever,
dude,
that would be
Yeah, that would be the end of my life.
That
I would rather be I would rather be in a debtor's prison, or a prison.
Then just be like, hey, look at this TV on this refrigerator.
Right. Yeah, I'm not the type of person who gets off on fucking ice cream, you know? I like ice cream from time to time, but like I don't need the artisanal shit right now, you know?
Right.
Like I can survive on Blue Bell. Blue Bell's got an amazing product called Cookie Two Step, which is essentially Oreos and cookie dough. And I don't know how no one else has thought of this. And maybe they have, but it's and they're not. You know what I appreciate about the Blue Bell Corporation?
What?
They're not stingy with the fucking goodies. Like that's
Yeah.
what we're there for.
That's true.
Like, sure, like we like the vanilla ice cream, but that's not why I'm there.
Right, exactly. It's like a trail mix. Like
I
you're not
want
there.
cookies.
Yeah, you're there for the M&Ms. You're there for the goodies. Yeah.
I want cookies, and I want because I'm an empty person. Like at the end of the day, I'm an empty person, but I like ice cream because I know I started by saying I don't need the artisanal ice cream, and now I'm going on to like how I'm dependent on ice cream.
Yeah.
But that's how I feel. Like I'm like, no, like life is so hard that I deserve ice cream.
Right, but you have like the blue collar, like Blue Bell.
Blue Bell.
Blue collar Blue Bell.
I'm sorry I don't get it at the city market or wherever I should. I get it at CVS.
CVS?
Which is bullshit. Like, but for whatever reason, it's like the only product in a CVS that they don't overly like fucking fuck you on.
Yeah.
You know? And also, to be fair, I haven't been in there in a while, and inflation has affected fucking everything under the sun. So maybe, I don't know.
You gotta check it. I mean, it is a pharmacy, and it is like medicinal,
Right.
ice cream for you.
Dude, yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I think suffering for your art is, it's integral. You can't make good art unless you're really in it and suffering.
People can sniff out if you're phony. That's not to say you can't be phony and have like a great career, because I've certainly seen that happen.
Yeah.
But I don't want to do that. And also, fuck money. I don't like. I want to be able to pay my bills and shit, but I don't. Yeah, and I don't mean to be all self-righteous about it, but I don't really want money. I don't care. I'm like in the Joker when he's like, I am a man of simple taste or whatever. And he's like, it's not the Joker, it's Dark Knight.
Yeah.
He's like, I like gunpowder or whatever.
Yeah.
That's how I feel.
Yeah.
I'm a man of simple taste. I like gunpowder and fucking, I don't like gunpowder, by the way. That would freak me out.
Just gunpowder, not even the bullets.
Olivia has a gun, but I don't think it's here.
What kind of gun is it?
This is some kind of handgun.
Oh, nice. Listen, I'm left of the spectrum, but I do like guns. I think that they're kind of cool.
Well, I'm a huge proponent of putting guns. I'm so much of a gun nut that I would like to put guns in the hands of every Islamic person in the United States. I think that they should all get a free gun.
Free gun.
And every black person.
Yeah.
Every Mexican.
Right.
Actually, let's give everyone a gun.
Yeah, well,
that's what we should do.
That's what,
at this point, that's the only thing we haven't tried.
That's what Republicans love, but actually
changing legislation.
Yeah, exactly. But I mean, the only time the NRA has actually come out in favor of more gun control is when the Black Panthers took the Capitol building with guns.
Well, yeah, and the Black Panthers. You probably, I don't know if you're listening, what your opinion is, but it's a good time in life, I think, wherever you're at, to figure out that Black Panthers were persecuted by the feds.
Yeah.
And they probably, what I've found from looking shit up about them is I had the wrong idea about them. And I was like, why do I think that? Why was I led to believe that they were like a fucking terrorist group?
Yeah.
Why?
Well, it's funny. It's like in school, it's like you get when they're going over the civil rights era. You have it's like you have the good civil rights and then you have the bad civil rights. It's like you have MLK and then Malcolm X.
Yeah, Malcolm X is taught as the devil compared to, because MLK is the type of figure that libertarians are comfortable, like right-wing libertarians. Which I've had people, sometimes I say right-wing libertarians and people are like, they're all fucking right. And I was just like, you're ignorant.
Right.
Look it up.
Right.
No, shut up. Like, no Chomsky. No fucking Chomsky.
Right.
Left libertarianism. It's a thing. Look it up.
It's on the political compass.
Yeah, I'm tired. Yeah, like so many of my friends have been like, oh, fucking, what do you mean by right libertarian? That's what I mean. There's a right and a left with them. So
right libertarians are like, hey, I love weed, abortions, whatever, but also I love
the military.
The military, Amazon.
And,
I think Amazon should have a private army, paramilitary death squads.
Right.
Yeah.
That's what right-wing libertarianism is essentially, and that's why it deserves that distinction.
Right. But yeah, no, the civil rights. I'm of the belief
they love MLK though.
They do love MLK.
Like, this guy gets me.
Yeah, well, I don't. I think that they both movement. I mean, they're the same movement, but both sides were very vitally important in actually passing legislation in the Civil Rights Act of 1964.
Right.
But, yeah, I mean, as you get older and more politically radicalized by algorithms on the internet, Malcolm X wasn't that bad.
Yeah. Right, he for sure wasn't that bad. I might even say I like the guy.
Whoa, dude. That's a little too far for me.
I feel also like, I don't mean to be too radical, but I also had the wrong idea about old Fidel Castro.
Right.
I had been told that he was kind of a Joseph Stalin, like Hitler type or something.
Yeah.
And that turned out not to be true.
Yeah.
Certainly a mixed bag. But
I haven't heard that. I haven't, to be honest, I haven't done that much Fidel Castro rabbit hole.
Look it up. It's pretty hard not to be inspired by early Castro. I'm talking about like when Cuba was governed by the dictator Batista, the right-wing guy that the CIA approved of. And turned Havana essentially into a Las Vegas that was controlled by the mob. And also we were using them we were doing business during the Batista years with them to get their sugar. And they had like slave labor, essentially. Not really slave labor. It had to be like under the guise of like freedom.
Right.
Because we were attached to it, but slave labor. So, we had this feudal society there that was propped up and kept propped up by the CIA.
Interesting.
And then, in the late 50s, a guy by the name of Fidel Castro and Che Guevara teamed up, and they led a group of insurgents, basically, that they just like recruited people in the wilderness. Basically, they hung out in I think it was like the forest and the mountains and shit, and they were known as the Bearded Ones.
Oh, really?
And they led a revolution where they now you would they would be distinguished terrorists now.
Right.
But they were a group that was like, no, we're going to use guerrilla tactics and recruit everyone who has been fed up with the government.
Oh, really?
Yes. And meanwhile, while this was going on, the United States was like, oh, fuck. Like our fucking cash cow, this guy, and they were just crossing their fingers. They were like, this guy better not end up being a fucking communist.
Right.
So, and they knew like Che Guevara, he already was a communist too. Everyone knows about him. Like he is this guy who went from country to country, leading revolutions. And because he had radical Marxist beliefs.
Right.
He wanted to liberate people in Central America and shit.
Wow.
Anyway, these guys, they led a successful revolution and overthrew the regime of Batista. And then the United States is like, oh fuck. They were holding their breath. They're like, what's he gonna do? And he started doing like land reform.
And they're like, oh god.
They're like, oh, this isn't looking
fuck.
good. So, and then he visited the United States, and I believe he met with Malcolm X in Harlem.
Fidel Castro?
Mm-hmm.
Oh shit, I didn't know that.
Yes, before the United States had like officially declared like sanctions or anything like
Right.
that. They were, Fidel Castro visited New York City, and the hotel that was arranged for him to stay at with his posse tried to like price gouge him.
Uh-huh.
And he said, fuck that. And he was like, it was like in Manhattan or something. And he was like, fuck that. I'm going to Harlem. I know they'll like me over there. And there's all these images of Fidel Castro hanging out in Harlem.
Oh, really?
Yes. It's insane. And yeah, all these black people basically were like, this is a guy who understands our struggles.
Right.
You know? And so he was that kind of character, you know, and he's a tall, like, I don't know if you know that about Castro. He's like very tall. He's like 6'4" or some shit.
Jesus.
Back then he was like a handsome, like rugged guy, and he didn't look like other politicians.
Right.
He was in fatigues or whatever. He has this big iconic beard.
Yeah.
Or whatever. So he was a fucking badass. Like it's undeniable. Castro in the 60s was cool as fuck. Like undeniable.
Yeah, I gotta look up those pictures.
But anyway, you know, after that came all kinds of fun projects. Operation Mongoose, where they were trying to get a poison cigar to Castro. All sorts of assassination attempts. Not to mention, during the 60s, the CIA they had projects going everywhere. In Indonesia, they had a mass murder program, which was outlined in the Jakarta Method by Vincent Blevins. I don't know his name. But the CIA, do you know about that at all?
Well, I know, obviously I know about like certain CIA projects, but not all of them.
You should look up Indonesia. It's like, it's fucking crazy. So the things that I remember from that book, in the 60s, let's go back. Like after World War II, Indonesia, I believe it was right after that they got their independence. Like they kicked out the Dutch colonials that, you know, were governing that land.
Mm-hmm.
And they were led by this very, very popular president named Sukarno. And the problem with Sukarno was, A, he was very popular with the people. But B, he was also cozy with the Socialist Party.
Oh, Jesus.
In Indonesia, the PKI. Which we call a socialist party because it was a little bit of land reform, you know, they didn't want, because, you know, there were Indonesians that were cozy with the Dutch or whatever, that had privilege and fucking, you know, they were way ahead of the lower class of people. So, you know, Sukarno was very popular in that sense, and he was friends with the PKI. And the CIA basically said, we can't have that. So they did secret bombings. They had CIA agents like flying in, like fucking bombing farms and like shit like that during the late 50s. In fact, the Indonesians even shot down a CIA plane.
Wow.
So, you know, the CIA is doing this secret war in Indonesia to prevent them from having a successful, like, socialist project, basically. And they're like, this cannot go on. Like, Sukarno is, like, doing...
They did that all around the world, didn't they?
Yes.
Yeah,
yes.
Of course.
So, in Indonesia, their strategy, like, they were trying to fuck with them. They had a project, believe it or not, where they were filming or producing a fake pornography with a lookalike of Sukarno, and they were like, their thinking was like, if their people see that he's like such a womanizer or whatever, they won't like him.
Right.
And it turned out like they never like released the tape or whatever, but they found a lookalike and
they did the whole thing.
Yes, as far as I know.
That's insane.
So yeah, they had all kinds of like bizarre attempts to ruin this guy, but meanwhile they were also talking to the Indonesian military, which the military and the PKI, the leftist party in that country, hated each other. The military was right wing.
Yeah.
So the CIA started bringing over guys from Indonesia who were in the military and training them in Kansas.
Oh, really?
Yes, westernizing them, and they were able to, through that, like, infiltrating leadership and also just like openly working with the Indonesian military. They organized a regime change ultimately, and much more devastatingly, a mass murder program where the CIA turned over a list of like millions of names of PKI members.
Jesus.
And they
just like doxed them?
They murdered them.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's interesting that they chose...
estimated around 1 million people.
God. It's interesting they chose Kansas to like fucking train them.
Leavenworth is there, which is like a military thing. There's all kinds of fun stuff there. I think there's a prison too.
Oh, really?
Yeah. But yeah, that's all outlined in the Jakarta method. We've done an hour 10 here. This ain't the fucking Joe Rogan experience. I appreciate you so much for coming by, man.
Yeah, dude, it was great.
Cool. Let's can you plug your shit? Let's get some my 61 people on Spotify are your 61 people is how I see it.
I appreciate it.
And my YouTube boys.
Oh yeah,
hello boys.
What is it? 93 plus 61. I'm not even good at math, but that's over 100. I'm pretty sure.
That's pretty good.
That's pretty good.
I'll take it.
Yeah, you can find me on Instagram and TikTok as Jankum Jones, and then I'm also, if you look up Jacob Jonas Comedy on YouTube, I'm starting a new project called Free or Dead, where I interview people all across the country about their political affiliations, and I do narratives. I have a video coming out. I did the Juggalo Gathering, that video's out, and then I'm doing my review of the Ark exhibit and Creation Museum in Boone County, Kentucky. So...
Fuck yeah. I can't wait for that. That's going to be so sweet. I do feel as if I might say, I do feel as if like I'm so stoked that you were able to do this podcast because we don't have your kind roll through town too much,
Yeah.
And that's the part of the beauty of it. Like sometimes I'm going to talk to people that don't have an interest in the same things, and we try to make that part of the dynamic. Like I think it's kind of fun to talk to someone and just like talk about MK Ultra or something when they're trying to talk about cookies, whatever, which we talk about cookies too.
We talked about ice cream. So.
Yeah. All right, so was there any other?
No, that's pretty much it.
Support this man. He's part of the movement, and he's part of the Scarbyverse now. So
it's the Scarbyverse.
I'm trying to make so many things happen. But yeah, thank you guys for listening. I appreciate you, and we'll see you soon.
Bye. Cool. Hell yeah.
Thanks for doing that, dude.
Yeah, that was fun.